So daily close just came in, so we're gonna take a look at that, what the market's trying to do. Take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Then we're gonna talk about alt season. I see a lot of people out there talking about alt season canceled. A lot of fear in the market, even though Bitcoin's at 100K. Um, Still seems pretty fearful out there, and you see a lot of people saying the market's oversaturated. Various reasons that people are saying that we might not get an alt season. So we're gonna look at some things, give my opinion on alt season and some things going on in the market right now. So looking at Bitcoin, like we said last stream, we're in a range. I didn't think that this is the type of price action leg up to the top of the range that you look for to break through the top of the range, and it didn't. And it doesn't mean that we have to come all the way down to the bottom of the range. So rule of thumb in a range, you want to sell in the top third, buy in the bottom third. I know that sounds obvious, but you want to identify where the range is, and you can do that easy with just this measuring tool here. So if it's like 18%, like that, then the top 6% is the top of the range, top third. Some people say the top quarter, there's really no like set rule on top third, top quarter. So based off that, you're still in a range where people would more likely sell than buy, given that it's range and price action. And sometimes, how do you know it's a range? Like, what are you looking at in these bars, Ron, to say rangy price action? Like, what's the difference between these bars and other bars that aren't in a range? Well, there's a few things you look for. A lot of indecision, a case for both ways, for up and down, because a lot of people think up, a lot of people think down. A lot of bars that overlap, constant change in colors, lots of wicks. Those are the things that you see. Like, look at these bars here. Like, look at, and this is a decent leg up in a range, but lots of overlap, changing colors, lots of wicks. Look after this bar closes above structure, see left over here. Look, constant green bars, full bodies, then that's the breakout. And then, it's not going to go up, not going to get like big green counts forever. And then you get like a channel, like a spike in a channel. And then, you'll get a few more good green bars there. And then it eventually is going to sell out to a range. All moves are eventually going to do that. So that's just what I see from Bitcoin right now. It's still in a range, nothing concerning. I don't know if it's going to come down to the bottom of the range. I don't think it has to. This right here came out and swept all these lows. So, I think that part has been done. You saw we found support right here off the 50-day. Now, if it comes down again, touches the 50-day, it's not going to bounce as much. We know the 50-day moving average is an important moving average from Bitcoin. That's not deniable. I mean, you look over here, same thing happened. It wicked down right off that 50-day. Next time it came down, didn't get as much support. I mean, that's going to be with any dynamic support. Dynamic support, that's like an EMA or a trend line. That's what you call those, like dynamics layers, levels of support. So nothing really to tell on Bitcoin. Take a peek at the weekly, just at a range. I don't see it that it's about to I'm not seeing anything like, okay, we're going to go up like right now and break out the range. I mean, good news can always happen, but you want to start seeing like some formations like this, like some little bear bars or bull bars getting bigger, full bodies, not a lot of wicks, not a ton of overlap. You want to see that happen or to form some kind of reversal pattern. I've thought about it a few times. Maybe it could be like something like this is the left shoulder, the head, and something coming down to the right shoulder. So you want to get some kind of pattern, some kind of price action that looks, something like this over here. That's what we want to start seeing, to think that, okay, this move will take us up out of the range. And I have called every single breakout ever since the bottom of this bear market. And, I can't say that I'm going to get every single one, but I've got every single one this entire bear market when we broke it out of a range. And I think that I'll be able to tell again here. One thing that I look at also in a range is like, if I look at it like a arm wrestling, and who's kind of winning the arm wrestling battle. And if I had to say, like in this part here, that the bulls are winning, if I had to say, and I say that there's a lot more green candles, but it's not just that. The candles look better than the bear ones. So I do think that the bulls are overall in control in this range. And, so when we talk about alts and we're going to have an alt season, I think it's important to talk about the cycle overall. I actually think that we are not as far in the cycle as most people probably would think. Um, I kind, these cycles they rhyme, but they're not exact. You know, they they definitely rhyme. But I know like this bear market, everybody was waiting for this double bottom. They said Bitcoin has a double bottom or whatever, and no asset has to do anything. Um, but that's what everyone was waiting for. They said there's going to be, something, like looking at last bear market, and the bear market before that had a double bottom too. They're like, yeah, it always is going to double bottom, and this is a, even when it was coming up here, people said this was a bear market rally. It was going to come back down, whatever. Um, I think that this leg here from the last market is actually kind of similar to this leg, and that this right here is more similar to that. Like I said, it's not exact. I think it rhymes. It formed a different pattern, bottoming pattern. It formed a head and shoulders. So that's why it didn't double bottom, and it ranged here. Now, this was the point right here where it could have fallen out of this range and broke to the downside and formed maybe a higher low double bottom like you saw over here, but it didn't do that. I think there's a lot of reasons for that. We don't have to get into right now, but that's why just my own analysis, and the timing matches up too. If you look at this, like February 24, June, well, maybe not quite. I looked at something where like the 4 year, it was like exactly 4 years and one of these legs up. But anyway, so I don't think we're as far along in the cycle as a lot of people think. And if we're going to talk about, alt season and where we are in the cycle, BTC dominance is a very popular chart we always look at. And we've gotten every single cycle this like a big leg down from BTC dominance. Now, like the last cycle right here, it wasn't as I just realized I wasn't sharing the BTC dominance chart, so I had it on TradingView. All right, so this leg right here, that was from 2017. You got a strong leg down, but one thing I want to point out, it was out of a ranging pattern, and then here you got this strong leg down, and this was out of a ranging pattern. So not the same over here, but both times it happened, it dumped strong off of after it was ranging. So here, and it's a monthly, it's a pretty big time frame. It's been a tight channel up. If we, you can even kind of, and it's kind of broken out of that tight channel. Things don't normally go from a tight channel up to straight down. You need some kind of ranging period first. It'll break down out of the channel and go sideways to down, is the way they say it. And that's what you're getting now. You could even say that this is coming up and retesting the bottom of that trend line. BTC dominance is not a tradable chart, but I always say it does seem to respect TA, but not the same way that some of these other, a normal asset would. But to think that the market cycle will be over, we haven't even got this big leg down in BTC dominance yet. We've gotten that every single time. So I would expect that we would still get that. Some other things that we can look at. This is a popular one, the Pi cycle top indicator. And we haven't got, we're nowhere close. This is the upper EMA. So the Pi cycle top indicator is these two EMAs, and some people might be like, well, if it's just that easy when the EMAs cross and the bull market's over. The EMA crossing strategies, they're not as when you look back at them, it looks very clear. In the moment, it's not as clear. But in any event, we're not even close to that cycle top. We're not even close to getting there. Like these EMAs still have a long ways to go before they are going to touch each other. So, I mean, this cycle's different. That things will be different, and things can rhyme more than repeat. However, for some of these things and these traditional top indicators, they're not even close. Here is another one that's popular, MVRV score. It's these spikes, here that can coincide close with with tops, and you don't have anything there for a top. What about ETH and other alts? Link looks strong. If altcoins down more, practically erasing the momentum they gained with Trump's victory. Yeah, so we're going to look at some altcoins. We're going to talk about ETH. I do agree. I think Link is a good chart. I think it's a good. I think it looks good. I think it can go up. I think it's one that'll be a winner this cycle from that was around last cycle. But we'll see. I think Link does look pretty good though. And I apologize at the beginning of the stream that I was sharing a TradingView chart, but it wasn't the same one that I was talking on, I think. Some of the things I was talking about, these legs here, that I thought this right here is kind of like this right here, and that this leg up, this first leg up in the bull market, is kind of like this right here, and that this COVID wick was really kind of an outlier. So I think we got a long ways to go in this cycle. I think that's very possible. Another indicator, Google Trends. That's not anywhere where it's been the last cycles. Coinbase, #1 app. I don't know if that's the signal that it used to be. It's been up there in the top 10 for financial apps, but it hasn't been for like total apps. Coinbase, and there's more now too. People use Robinhood, and Crypto.com's bigger, Kraken. So I don't know that the Coinbase app is going to be as reliable this time as it's been in other ones. But regardless, you haven't got that. You haven't got a lot of these traditional top indicators or things that normally happen. There hasn't been any kind of mania phase. Like this right here, if you were around in the market back here, this was a mania phase. People talking about, they're going to retire off staking rewards and node rewards and whatever. I know some people are like, well, retail is coming to market, and there's some retail and stuff like that. You have to remember, retail has to actually make some money first before they're going to start raiding their 401ks and mortgaging their homes and selling their cars and stuff like that. They have to make some money and be like, wow, this is crazy. I put $100 in here and now it's this. And why don't I just, if I'd have done that with $10,000 or $20,000 or, $40,000, and that's how it normally happens. So we haven't seen anything like that at all. So something that I want to explain, as it relates to altcoin season and why I think that we'll have an altcoin season, but ETH needs to go up. This is so important for ETH to go up and get into price discovery for altcoin season. So for market caps, when people say, Ethereum has a $400 million market cap or $400 billion market cap, that does not mean 400 billion is invested in Ethereum. And that goes the same with all these altcoins. It's not even close to that. It has, so as most of these tokens, they start in a liquidity pool, just say any token or whatever. And it's paired with ETH. Most of them, that's how they start. They're paired with ETH. And the best way I can try to explain this. So as the tokens are taken out of the liquidity pool and ETH added in and is bought, the token becomes more valuable because it's more scarce within the liquidity pool. So as the token becomes more scarce, that token in question becomes more inherently valuable, raising the market cap. With every time the value goes up, that token value times every single one in circulating supply is what adds to the market cap. I wanted to look at a spreadsheet that a friend of mine had made. Can't find it right offhand, but he did a comparison of, he was doing it for Chuck and Chuck's liquidity pool in comparison to other projects. And it's not about Chuck. It just shows you that, the liquidity pool and deck, there's like some of these large projects, like 1% of the total market cap in the liquidity pool. And it's even less than that, because if you're going to say these tokens themselves, just meme tokens or whatever, don't really have any value, the only thing that has value in there is the ETH. Well, half the liquidity pool is ETH. So the reason for that long drawn out explanation, also to show you, like, as the tokens get bought, they'll be more valuable, and it makes the market caps blow up. But it's the same thing for ETH. As ETH gets more valuable, if it breaks all-time highs and goes up and the value of ETH goes up, well, the value of that liquidity pool is going to go way up. So going back to Chuck, for example, sometimes people will ask me, I was looking at the order book and a sale came in. I was looking on a smaller time frame and like a couple sales came in, but then the candle still turned green. Like, how was that? Because the value of ETH went up because it's paired with ETH. So let me go to Dex Screener. Yeah. So this is half of this is ETH over here. So what's 180,000 worth of ETH? So if ETH were to go up 10%, all that ETH it's gonna go up. The market cap of this is gonna go up just because of the ETH. So this is just one coin right here. When you think about ETH going up and all the DEX pairs for ETH, I looked it up today. It said on Uniswap there was between 3,000 and 4,000 ETH pairs, which sound like a fairly big range. But that means just say it's 3,500 coins. All 3,500 coins that are paired with ETH are all going to go up just because ETH went up, and that's what they're paired with. So it can be a difficult topic to explain. I know it's probably a little boring, but if ETH goes up, everything paired with ETH goes up. Everything. So I do think that ETH needs to break above and get into price discovery. But I talked about this last stream, and I don't think there's anything odd about where ETH is right now, to be honest. I mean, I think it has a lot of issues fundamentally. I think the Ethereum Foundation is out of touch. But this is crypto. Most cryptos don't have a ton of utility and a lot of issues and stuff like that. So I don't know why ETH would get penalized even more than all these other shit coins. I think people are looking at ETH to Bitcoin gains, and you need to look at ETH more as like an alt. And none of these alts have really broke all-time highs and went into price discovery yet. So ETH needs to do that. And if ETH does that, then all these ETH pairs, all of them are going to go up. And it's not just, because ETH went up, so that means everyone else is going to buy. No, the market caps all inherently go up with ETH, and everything paired with Solana, it's the same thing. And that's a lot more popular now. I wish I'd had that spreadsheet that my friend had made to show about a lot of these pairs, showing like how much or how little actual liquidity or money is actually in some of these assets. Everyone just looks at market cap. I have a friend who's kind of a whale, and like, if something doesn't have a big, thick LP, he won't even think about touching it. Like, if you think you're going to buy something like a 10K market cap and people like, if it goes up 100X, I'll make I put $1,000 and I'll make $100,000. You will not make $100,000. You won't make anywhere close to that. Market cap math is one thing, and it's fine for bigger assets and stuff like that. But you have to have the actual money in the liquidity pool to take out, for one. So, so the liquidity bonding and the alts, they're going to go up with ETH. So I want to see. I got another spreadsheet that my buddy Danny had made, and I really like the way that he looks at this. Just 1 second. Let me pull it up. Yeah, I couldn't pull it up in the same browser that I had. That's why it's okay. Here we go. So I really like how he looks at this. Because what you commonly hear is there's so many alts in the market, it's so over diluted, and it is very diluted. But if you look at it by the market cycles and like the top coins and what their market caps were, and just compare that, like he's got yeah, this is a good one where the top like how many coins hit 100 million or how many coins hit 50 million in the top 750. So the top 750 cryptos, how many of them hit those market caps? So if you look at it from like this standpoint, that no, not all the crypto, not all coins are going to go up. And like people, a million coins come out a week or whatever. Yes, a million comes coming out a week, but most of them go to zero immediately. I mean, something comes out on Pump Fund every 10 seconds. I don't think those things are really a threat in taking liquidity out of the market. So, how many coins in these different cycles hit these market caps, and that's why I think anything in the top 750 coins, 750 to 1,000 coins, you're still going to get the same kind of gains that that you got last cycle. That's just my opinion. I think that I do think that a lot of alts won't have the greatest gains and get left behind. I think things are going to funnel back into utility. I still think meme coins will do fine this cycle and still be one of the top narratives. But I think that, the top coins, the top 750 to 1,000 coins are still going to get these gains like we've seen in the past. Another thing that I've seen, speaking of meme coins, is that they've sucked too much liquidity out of the market. So if you think about last cycle, NFTs were kind of like the meme coins of last cycle, I'd say. And they're not really doing that great this cycle. So you could kind of compare the same thing, that maybe people have this throwaway money, and last cycle they're spending on NFTs a lot. This cycle they're more spending on meme coins, but same kind of difference, same kind of thing. NFTs are still a thing. Pudgy Penguins do okay. Node Monkeys, Quantum Cats. There's a few of them out there that do okay, but I don't think we're gonna have the same NFT run like we did last cycle. Maybe we do. If we do, that's fine. But I don't think that just because a lot of the people, there's a lot of meme coin action, that's sucking all the liquidity out of the market. I don't, because for a real bull market to come, we need normies and new people in the market. I think most of these people playing the meme coin slot game, they're people that are already in the market. There's normies don't know what Pump Fund is. So I think a lot of it, and these meme coins, when they have these run ups and then they just go right down, there's a handful of people making money. Like there's not very 2 or 3 people. Most people are losing. And I think it's just sucking money out of Wojaks, like the Wojaks out there in the market that are trying to hit, big gain on everything that comes out and stuff like that. So I don't see that as the biggest threat. But we'll have to see how it goes. Maybe I'm wrong. Then total 3 chart. I think this looks good. I think it's very similar to the Bitcoin chart. It's a monthly, go down to the weekly. And it broke this high from over here. It's right there consolidating at the previous all-time high from November 2021. It's left this gap here. That's good. It gets bought up, double bottom right there. It's ranging, but it doesn't, I don't see anything about reversal down. I don't see anything telling me that. I compared it to previous cycles, and one thing that I thought looked kind of similar was like this right here, like how it went up before the precursor, before the big move. That's kind of how it's looking right here. How a decent leg up and now a ranging period consolidating around the previous all-time highs. So how far does this chart go back? So it doesn't even so it doesn't show from the 2017 high. It was actually in 2018. But in any event, I think this looks kind of similar. Like I said, these things rhyme. They won't always be exact, but I do think that they tend to rhyme. And yeah, so I think the biggest gains and biggest legs in this market are still yet to come. Like we said, a lot of people calling for tops, and other things there's never been a top where a lot of people were calling for a top or saying that we won't have an alt season or anything like that. So keep that in mind too. And people have been waiting 3 years for this alt season, and now that this is the year that you actually have it at the beginning of the year, so many people are like, oh, it's not going to happen. I think when I was looking at a total 3 chart earlier, I believe I looked at something that made me think that we might not really get the bigger gains till March. I wish I'd have wrote that down. Maybe on the next stream, I'll go back to that. For Jerome Powell's speech tomorrow, I've heard from other people that there won't be any rate cuts. But Trump is saying he wants rate cuts. So I don't know. We'll see. I think just because last time he said we'll get less rate cuts this year, they can change their mind like that from FOMC to FOMC. Like that happens all the time. So I'm not overly worried about them saying last time that there won't be rate cuts. Rate cuts will come. And one thing that we can look at real quick is the DXY chart and see how it's doing. So, I talked about in previous streams, it broke above this, closed several weekly candles with follow through. Probability, just generally speaking, with technical analysis, that it will reach up here to this high. That doesn't mean it has to, but many times if you get this kind of structure like this on a higher time frame, it will. And you can also, it still may. You can say this pullback is coming down and testing the top of this, and it can still have another leg up. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope the news affects it. I think everyone knows, pretty common knowledge, that the dollar going down is good for risk assets. And the reason is, if the dollar's going up, rich people, they'll just keep their money in cash and be like, I'm increasing my power, my spending just by holding my money in cash. And when cash starts to go down, that's when they feel better about putting it in risk assets and trying to risk some of it. Rich people, they want to stay rich. They don't want to put, a bunch of money in shit coins. At the right time, they'll pick their spots and stuff like that, but they're not just putting it in shit coins for 3 years, building bags of, AI tech and TET and other things like that. That's kind of how they operate. But been going on about 30 minutes. Just went over some things about altcoins and why I think we'll still have an alt season. I think a lot of this stuff's overstated. Like I said, you focus on the top ones, the top 750 to 1,000 thereabouts. I think you're going to get similar gains like what we've seen in the past. No major top indicators that I see that have really been hit. I'm sure you could find one or two. There's some indicators on top of this last stream. There's some indicators that suggest reversal, but I don't really look at indicators. Not RSI, MACD, things like that. I think they have their place, but I'm not really looking at them. But next minute or so, if anybody has any asset they want me to look at, just put it in the comments. I'll check it out. If not, then I'll conclude the stream. But anybody's interested in my Telegram, we do a lot of things in there. If you sign up now, it's $325 for the year. Last year, I'll probably do it. We have a guy puts out daily TA on lots of assets. If you request something, he'll probably look at it. I put out a lot of TA. I put out when I'm buying, when I'm selling, things I think are a good price. We got an NFT expert. We may start another meme coin at some point in the next couple of months. So a lot of things going on there. Definitely a lot of things going on there. A lot of knowledgeable people. It's not just me. It's several people that help run it. All right. Well, since nobody asked me to look at any assets or anything like that, I'll go ahead and call it a day here. And I appreciate everyone who tuned in. I'm going to try to do some live public streams more. I do a lot of private streams for Telegram, but I'm going to try to do more public ones as the market goes on. So thanks for everybody who tuned in, and I'll catch you guys next time. Later.